I unmuted. What happened?
No one can hear us.
Nope, not at all. Hey, we're going to start the show again.
We're going to start the show. So for the person who just arrived, you missed nothing.
You didn't miss anything.
You missed literally nothing.
Yep. Hi, everybody. Welcome to I Fucking Love Whiskey. I'm Andrew Pierce, and I fucking love whiskey. As always, I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Joseph Limbaugh.
I am Joseph Limbaugh, and I fucking love whiskey.
I suspected as much. And today we have a very special guest, all the way from, where, North Hollywood? Mr. Paul Hungerford.
Boy, that introduction was not as good as the muted one.
Well, let me just go then. So Paul is not just Paul Hungerford, in case anyone doesn't know. He's the Paul Hungerford.
Yeah.
He is the actor, improviser, unrelentingly wonderful person, founder of Outpost 13, father of two lovely daughters, devoted husband, dog wrangler, teacher, swell fellow. Did I miss any of them?
I've got something that you probably didn't know, Andrew.
Oh.
I fucking love whiskey.
What?
Yeah, I love whiskey.
Wow.
Well, reserve that till after the end of the show. At the end of the show, we'll see if that's true. Because if we just want to make sure that after this journey, you still feel that way.
Well, Joseph was somebody who turned me on to whiskey that I had never tried before. What's your favorite whiskey, Joseph?
Currently, my favorite whiskey is Ardbeg Ugadal. That is what that's my favorite tipple of choice.
Right.
But, I started off with Lefroy. We've told the story many times.
Yeah.
But, it's like the stuff that Andrew has been, sending my way. It's like there's so many great things. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to drink anything from the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, and there's a couple of those today. Whenever I see those, I'm like, oh, here we go. And that hand rubbing is entirely appropriate for the experience. You will see.
Exciting.
Awesome. Well, let's not waste any further time because it's fun once we start drinking and tasting it and then start talking and we go wherever we go. So our first bottle up today is transition. This Highland Park, it's a wax top and they do that for special bottles. It's a Sovereign bottling. It's an independent bottler. And this is a 21-year-old Highland Park. So lightly peated, using Orkney peat, a little bit different than the Isla peat you get out of a Lefroy or a Lagavulin or an Ardbeg. But a very nice little peated delight. And this one really is subtle but awesome.
And the Sovereign has several different things you can get from them, right? Like what is the deal with the Sovereign? We've talked about it before, but I need a reminder.
Well, are they a
bottler? Are they
They're an independent bottler. They're actually Hunter Lang. So Hunter Lang has Old Malt Cask. It's got the Sovereign, and I think it may even have another label that it releases under.
So they're like the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. They go out, find whiskeys and scotches, and then bring them and rebottle them and say, "This is the flavor we discovered."
Stored the cask and let it out. Yeah. Hello, Susan Zoom. Welcome. So have you got it poured, Paul?
Yay!
I'm removing the wax. I have a question. What does the 2490 mean?
That means it is bottle 24 out of 90 that they got out of the cask.
Ooh.
Wow. Cool.
So after 21 years, as you know, the Angel Share takes a percentage of the whiskey every year. So the longer it's in the barrel, the more it evaporates. So they only got 90 bottles out of this cask. So
you know about the Angel Share, Paul? Angel Share?
I would assume that it's what evaporates. It's given to
the angels.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
They deserve
or taken by the angels.
You never know.
This has a real deep caramel smell in it. It's got that sort of like, I just want to say, it's got that, it smells like something that is a sweet brown caramel smell, like molasses or that it's got that deep kind of sweet organic smell down there. A little bit of floral, I think, too.
Yeah, I get definitely floral. A little bit of that smoky peat in there.
Ooh, boy.
It smells like an old cabin.
Mm.
Wow.
For those playing the home game, I wish you could join us and taste this as well. But
whatever they're drinking, I'm sure is good.
I'm sure they are too, but
it's so big up front. It has it fills your mouth up immediately.
Yeah.
It just feels like I can feel my lips already kind of like it's lingering.
It's got a strong attack, that's for sure.
What is Highland Park?
Highland Park.
Yeah. Highland Park. It's funny. There's a place in Atlanta. There's a kind of a location in Atlanta called Highland Park.
How long did you live there your whole life?
No, just 4 years, but it seemed like my whole life.
Is it from college?
After college, yeah, I moved to Atlanta, founded Dad's Garage Theater. We just had the 25th year reunion.
Congrats.
Or 25th years of it, like being there, and it's it's still going. I'm so proud of those guys and everybody at that theater. Like it has become something far beyond anything we imagined.
Isn't that great?
Just it is very great. Yeah, I'm really glad. It's I'm very proud of having had anything to do with it.
Would I know any of the people from the beginning of that?
Joseph Limbaugh.
From the beginning, Alan Simpson was
I did not know that.
He's an official original founder, because the original, like, he wasn't there right at the beginning, but he was early enough that he was a stockholder when we had stock. We didn't have any money, so like one of the artistic director, Sean Daniels, who his family kind of fronted some of the money to start the theater, because it's like starting a theater is super expensive and ridiculously financially an insane endeavor. Yeah. We all also paid in, though. We bought stocks. We bought literally stock in the theater in the first few years when it was going on. And then eventually we were able to open a bar. We got a liquor license and open a bar in the theater, and all of our money troubles disappeared. Well, so people wrote some grants too. It wasn't just that, but it did make a huge difference. And that's the story of Dad's Garage.
That's a good one.
You know what I get in the taste? It's almost like you have a roasted butternut squash that you've had the brown sugar melted into. It's so
good. I'm getting sweet potato, but I appreciate the squash. It really lingers.
I get like a honey smoked ham with like that brown sugar on the outside, and like definitely a bit of the pineapple, but it's not very strong. Like maybe they, but that's what I get, is that sort of spiral ham flavor, but like especially the edge of the ham where there's that crumbly brown sugar.
Breaker 19. We got some CB radio stuff going on in the chat.
Breaker 19. There's a bear laying on the other side of exit 27.
I love it. Sweet brown caramel smell was my CB handle for years. Sweet brown caramel smell.
Were you guys ever into CB radio?
No.
No, I had some neighbors across the street they were like Boy Scouts, and they were totally into like police, listening to the police bands, and like they were, I don't know.
The level of it. My friend had a roommate my friend's roommate listened to police scanners to fall asleep.
Oh.
And I couldn't think of a more stressful thing to listen to.
Well, I guess if you don't know what the codes are, right? I mean, it's just, we got a 1042 over on 3rd Street, right? We got a 1984 happening again.
They're all under control.
Now.
It's the 1984. They're all under control.
That's a thought police. The 1984 is the thought police.
Thought police crime.
I think I do want to science this, because it has quite a punch in the mouth, that first sip. And I think it needs just a touch of softening. Just a bit of softening.
All right, we're going in for science. We're going to add a drop of water, and just one drop, to see how it changes, because it's dramatic how much one drop can change it. So if you're thinking about putting an ice cube in a whiskey, I would say start with just a drop and see how that changes it, because an ice cube is an uncontrolled experiment. You've got a runaway water reactor inside your whiskey.
Oh, that makes it a little more gentle even in the nose.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just one drop?
Just one drop.
Rubber pencil eraser.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that like, either like that or just the eraser, like that was separate that you would get,
Oh yeah,
Honestly, like this kind of, I get a bit of, that was a slip of the tongue.
Well, the show is called I Fucking Love Whiskey, so
there can't be any swearing.
Right. I get a bit of crayon too. Maybe that's just because of you said rubber pencil eraser, and I'm thinking of school time.
Oh, this does good things to the taste, I think.
I agree. It really changed it.
It's surprising how much one drop Oh boy.
Yes. Yes. It is interesting to me that I do feel like I'm getting more of a, like, I feel like I can more in advance know whether I want to put water in something or not. And whether it will do something good or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm not 100% correct, but like after tasting something, I can say, I really want to put water in this, or I don't know if I want to.
Right. My nipples.
Oh. Goodness. That's interesting. You sure it's just not the air conditioning kicking on?
Definitely not.
Okay.
It kind of went down my throat and then back up to my nipples.
You know, I've never experienced that reaction before.
Defund thought police is something that Susan Zoom wrote. Susan Zoom is funny. She should be on the
microwave.
show.
Yes.
Yes, I would watch a Susan Zoom show.
Does she like whiskey? I don't know.
She likes to socialize.
But does she like whiskey?
Well, I'm not going to speak for her. I would never presume to know what she likes or doesn't like.
Boy,
My life.
Oh yeah.
Are we going to drink more of this?
We've got a journey ahead of us. I mean, it's up to you if you want to. You can always circle back around too.
Yeah.
Right. We should move on to the next whiskey in the next 5 minutes just to keep on track.
Gotta keep on track. Whiskey is yucky. Change my mind. That's not our jobs.
That's not our job.
You've got to at least have an open mind or a blank slate for whiskey, I think.
Oh.
So you only watch the show for the attractive men?
I think that's right. That sounds right.
I like that Andrew's choice of attractive men immediately is his finger.
Well, he had to like look at it. He had to think about it.
Andrew, you're so charming.
All right.
Oh, dear.
Have you already started on the next one, Andrew?
No, I'm still.
Get Bowie. Bowie's not anywhere near here.
Bowie loves
near the apartment.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to put a cap on that and come back to that later. That's so good.
I have to ask a question.
Of course.
It's considered day drinking?
No, it's after 6 now.
Okay.
Can't be day drinking.
Yeah, that was incredible.
That's so good. Well, this next one, I'm not going to steer you too far with my tasting notes that I've tasted before, but on the taste, the very first thing I wrote down is, in all caps, "You will not ignore me!" Aw, Bobo. There he is. There's the boy.
Ew.
Hey, so very funny that Corey mentioned that bacon in a microwave was his TV handle, because this next whiskey is named Bacon on a Bonfire.
Oh.
And that is a Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, by the way. This
is a Campbelltown Festival Scotch Malt Whiskey bottle. So they, for the festivals in each region every year, they release casks that they have from that area. 17-year-old. It is called Bacon on Bonfire. They got 198 bottles out of this refill hogshead, and it's 55.9%. There you go. And I think the taste will get your attention.
Andrew, go ahead, Joseph.
Well, there's a question here. Who will win the Stanley Cup, Andrew?
Good grief. That's a really tough one. I kind of fear the way Vegas is playing. It could be Las Vegas.
And I'm bored. What were you going to say, Paul? I'm joking. You can talk about the Stanley Cup.
No, it's fine.
I talked about Dad's Garage for like a long time.
I could talk about hockey. I love hockey. I went to a game with him.
There's so much hockey on right now. There's so much.
Isn't it
constant?
Isn't it true that like when you get the Stanley Cup, you literally take it home and you keep it for a while, and then you give it back, and then it's given to someone else? Like, didn't someone
every one of the team gets it for a day. Yep, everyone gets it for a day.
And someone stole it at one point, right? Did they had to track it down, or am I wrong?
I don't remember a steal, but I know that the Edmonton Oilers stopped their bus at the side of the road to take a pee break and then left it behind and had to circle back and get it. It's got dents in it. It's been through a lot.
I kind of love that it was the Oilers who did that.
I love that there's just one Stanley Cup, and it's like, no, we keep using it. It is the cup.
It's the cup.
Who was Stanley?
The rings, Lord Stanley. He was a sponsor of hockey.
God, that smells good.
What about his parable? Did he have a good parable?
I don't know.
Ooh.
Oh.
This reminds me of the previous one, but even more so and richer and more. It's got that same sort of floral caramel. Ooh, but there's other stuff in there, like deep, like a dark wood, like almost like a stained wood. Oh boy.
I want to say salted pork.
Yeah.
Pork, definitely.
I mean, obviously with bacon on a bonfire. Oh, that was a hard one to come up with, Andrew. But I totally forgot that was what it was.
I think it's actually fair because it's striking you so hard that it has to come out.
Right, and then they always write for the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. They write, but we'll taste it first. I always like to hear what they describe it in a very poetic way, what the flavor is. So,
from the bonfire, the smoky, the burnt wood, not the fresh wood that's burning now, but later on, the later wood,
not to be confused with morning wood, because that is wood in the morning. That flavor is unique and amazing and awesome. And yeah, the smell, you definitely get the bacon in the smell, but the taste is like, hey man, this is bacon on a bonfire. like for sure. That's it.
Oh, so good.
I've never tasted anything like that before. That's incredible. It tastes like a bacon and egg sandwich with Gouda cheese.
But there's also just a little bit of sweetness at the end, that finish. There's something just nice. It's like it's been cured in honey or something, or it's just a bit of sweetness there. You have your bacon on the bonfire, and then later you make some s'mores.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was very happy when this came in. And Glen Scotia lately has been just killing it with their outturns.
Oh my God, is that good? What makes you choose to go to a festival, Andrew? Do you go to all of them? Do you pick and choose? Do you get invited? Joseph, have you ever been to any?
Sorry, go ahead, Joseph. Answer.
Well, I don't really go to whiskey festivals, or I haven't yet, but I hope to. But I would say there are floral notes in here. They're not like forward, but they're definitely in there. Yeah, I mean, especially when I smelled it, I got a bit of some floral notes.
It has such an outdoorsy. It doesn't feel. It just. Your comment makes me think of an open meadow that kind of rounds out like a birch tree. It feels like it has a wide. The floral notes really kind of make it feel wide. It doesn't feel like just one particular flower, but like. Oh.
Yeah, I will often build a house in the nose or the flavor of this. This is definitely like a log cabin in the woods, like Northern California, Southern Oregon, somewhere remote. Like it's the smell of pine is there, and there's someone is living there in a flannel shirt that likes to wield an axe and cut down trees, and someone who has flapjacks. This is like
little house in the nose.
And hang around in bars.
Yes, lots of floral notes.
Jack and I'm okay.
There are lots. This is like every flower in this
little house in the nose. That's me. Damn. Yeah, that's good. This is now once again I'm not in a rush to put science in this. I don't know that I like where it is. It might be okay, but it's not. I don't know. Not my first thought.
So this is the first bottle out of 198?
No, this when it's one out of something, it's generally just they tell you this is one out of the 198 we got out of the cask. If it's an actual number above one, then it's generally, this is the second bottle they pulled. It doesn't really matter which order they came out in. Okay. The whiskey in there is all the same stuff.
So they mix it.
Tell me how often you've gone to festivals and what makes you choose.
I basically avoid the festivals. Like there's an Isla festival, Facial, which is phenomenal. And they have 8 distilleries on the island. and every day is a different distillery or maybe 2 distilleries that have a special. And this island itself has about 3,500 people living on it at any one time. And during Facial, it grows to 3,500, like 10 times the number. There's people camped on every side of every road you can find. It's to me, it's just like, that is just nothing I want to be part of. Maybe once, if I can like have a boat or something and I can get off the island and just like sit in the harbor.
Oh God!
But, yeah,
the chat is making me laugh so hard right now.
Susan, I don't.
Yep. You know, she's calling it. But
we are not even halfway on this journey.
We are not.
Like we have 2 more entire glasses. This is only the second glass, and we haven't finished it. So, but yeah, Paul doesn't drink quite as much as we do. So this might be a more exciting journey.
This could be an exciting journey.
I'm empathetic to that. It doesn't sound at all fun to go close the door, please. The air conditioner's on. My people are home.
Ah.
It's, come here, Sarah. Come over here. I'm in the middle of a show.
Oh, yes. There's so many people listening to you now.
Everyone just started listening to you. No, started in the car.
Yes, it's true. I'm
Have a
already
little water.
really well because I don't often drink. But I have to say this. I'm curious about the festivals. When you go to a festival or when you do go for whiskey tasting, do you spit the whiskey out or do people actually sip it? No, okay.
What? What?
This isn't swill like wine.
How dare
right?
you? But
it's precious aqua vitae, the water of life, man.
But the master distillers, I got to tell you, that's got to be the toughest job ever, because what they're trying to do because they create vatting of the many casks they have in their warehouse, trying to create a flavor profile for like Lagavulin, for Lafroig 10, or for these things that come out, and they try to be consistent year after year after year. They have to spit it out, because if they drank it all at the end of the day, they'd be so drunk that the mixtures would be just completely uneven. So
I went to Tennessee to the Jack Daniel's distillery.
Father of the year.
I don't want that.
Mom bought it for you.
I appreciate it. Just leave it over there.
What? Did she call you a loser?
Here, let me show them what this is. So my family bought me some
French
animal fries.
In and out.
Oh yeah.
And he isn't taking it, but he likes to take ours. But when the moment we buy him his own, he doesn't eat it. I could have done it. Now I already. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. I said mine did.
The wheels have fallen off at Paul's house.
Yeah. Whenever I've let's say, oh God. Yeah. Anyone have this conversation? Like, I'm going to In-N-Out. Do you want anything? Other person, no. In my brain, when I'm thinking, I'm going to buy another order of fries. Or if they're like, yeah, I want a burger, like protein style, but no fries. I'm like, nah, I'm buying 2 orders of fries.
Always get the fries.
Because I want my entire order of fries, and you're going to eat some.
When Glen, Scotia was making this whiskey, they were thinking animal fries would be a great combination.
Mm.
And that answers a question
it does.
See No Evil cast
See
from
No
earlier.
Evils, yeah.
Yeah, right?
I have to say, this is probably one of the tastiest whiskeys I've ever had.
I think there's going to be some pretty exciting stuff coming up, though.
I'm very excited about that.
I do feel like this is my favorite whiskey I've ever had, though.
That's saying a lot.
If you're watching in the Twitch right now, you'll see that I actually have the favorite whiskey alert up that Aaron Harvey.
Hello, Jergrom.
Laura.
Oh, favorite whiskey alert! You did it.
Isn't that awesome? Thank you, Aaron Harvey. That's so good.
So, what is do you expect Joseph to say? This is my favorite whiskey.
If you have not seen any of the previous 21 episodes that we've done, there's so often where he goes, "This is my favorite whiskey ever," It just delights me every single time. So we had to have a little.
Sometimes multiple times during an episode.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? I know I said this before about the last one, but this, and there's something for it being like the whiskey you have with your in your hand right now being your favorite. That's what makes total sense to me.
Whiskey has the magical ability that as you drink it, not only does it slightly change, but it makes you like it more. It seduces you.
Yeah.
It keeps you close. It doesn't. You don't leave your whiskey lying around like a glass of wine or a beer. You carry your whiskey with you. You escort it around the room.
I agree with everything you're saying, man. It's basically wisdom and truth. Wisdom and truth from the Paul Hungerford.
This is my family label.
Jagroam just asked in the chat, is that the Paul Hungerford? And yes, that is the Paul Hungerford.
Is that how it's pronounced? Jagroam?
Oh, it's Mora. Jagro. Yeah.
Jagro.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Am I saying it wrong?
I don't know. You've pronounced it twice in the past 15 seconds, so
yes,
I'm not really...
I know. 2 different ways. Oh, boy, this is so good.
Wow. Oh, man, we almost have to move on to the next one.
Well, before let me just say, this is the most genius podcast show ever created in the history of shows.
It's true. It's true.
It's really genius. It really is.
It can only get better as time goes on.
It's like whiskey. The longer it goes, the better it's going to get.
Well, that's not entirely true with whiskey,
though.
No?
No?
Actually, yeah, it's not like wine. It doesn't age in the same way.
No.
Yeah. And even wine, I don't think, like, it always is better if it's older. Like,
no.
You know.
No, there's definitely a time to it. Like
there's a point of no return.
The alcohol percentage will decrease and decrease and decrease. One of the bottles I bought for myself after a significant event was a 51-year-old cask they found. They didn't know what the origins were. It was kind of like lost in the corner of a warehouse, I'm guessing. But it was at like 40.1%. It was just a hair away from being able to be sold as whiskey anymore. So if you wait too long, it will become not whiskey. It'll become alcohol.
Andrew, tell me about the science. You did some science on that. I saw you.
I did some science on this. The nose, I think it knocks down the nose too much for me. It doesn't make me happy. But the flavor is interesting. The flavor is...
I did not science it, but maybe...
I think it takes something special away from it. I mean, it's not bad at all, but it takes away that specialness in what we had when it was unadulterated.
Yeah, it does have such, like, you don't, like, it has such a unique flavor. I just feel like that's kind of delicate, you know?
Yeah,
we're all aging beautifully.
I know. It's so nice.
Well, I'm 14, so I don't know. I hope that still applies. This is normal, right? For 14?
You're 21, right? You're 21.
I'm 21. That's it.
Okay.
Today's my birthday. I like to imagine that right now people watching this are like doing their laundry or like washing dishes and just like, you know, that's fine. And that's, that's totally fine. That's, you know, that's what the internet is for, is to listen to things in the background.
It would be so good if they were sipping along with us, though.
3 free throws? 3 free throws, 3 free throws?
3 free throws, 3 free throws, 3 free throws.
I slit a sheet I slit. Upon the slitted sheet I sit. I'm not quite in the slur area yet, I don't think. But. No. So next, is this the... Now, I mean, because I know one of these you were like, you mentioned something about it being quite like, oh, this has flavor or something.
Well, the
like
Glen
that.
Scotia was the one we just had.
Okay, that makes sense.
When I tasted that, it was just like,
yeah.
But that doesn't mean this next one's bad at all. This next one is another SMWS bottling. This is called Party Fizz, and it's from the Aberlour distillery.
Oh, this is the one you haven't tasted yet, right?
I have not tasted this yet. So this is a 10-year-old refill barrel, 57.9% alcohols.
Wait.
Yeah.
You guys all have clean glasses, right?
Yeah. Well, I might want to rinse it out with a little water.
And then dry it out maybe with, if I was you, I would water and then like, you know, take a napkin or something.
And putting the water in there and drinking it too also helps you hydrate. and not waste any of the whiskey that's left in the glass.
Yeah. Who was it who did that every time? It was
put water in, and then
one of our guests. One of our guests would like pour water in and drink.
Once
the
it's
last,
empty,
and
once
then
it's
have
empty,
have like a little like whiskey flavored water.
Yeah, you rinse it out with water and you hydrate.
that is genius.
See, Susan Zoom, we're following your advice.
Yeah. Party fizz, man. This is.
So-
I have to say, like right now, I'm in a pretty good place.
You're in a pretty fizzy party.
I'm ready for a
tasting
fizzy
notes on
party.
that past one were notes of rock salt, iodine droplets, sea spray, charred shellfish, charcoal embers slipping away on brittle coastal breeze. A drop of water and we found a new earthy quality as dried seaweed mingled with roasted escargot, damp cellar earth, and silk mechanical oils. Unequivocally excellent whiskey. In the mouth, the arrival was mouth coating and beautifully balanced. Sweetness and salt sparring on a sparring on a seesaw. Jambon, that's ham. Lime, butter icing, distant barbecue smoke, and a sensation of mince after a cigar. That's the kind of description that the SMWS puts out. So party fizz.
I just want to say, like a sniff of this, I feel like I'm in a room made out of cotton candy, like an entire house built out of cotton candy. That's what this smells like to me.
Yeah, the salt is.
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yes,
Wait, is
Susan Zoom, the bottom of a trash can on Venice Beach. That's exactly what that previous one smelled like.
If it was delicious.
Yes, in a good way. Of course, in a good way.
Oh my god, yeah, this, and I do feel like I'm on ecstasy in a rave with like in a room made out of cotton candy, hanging out with a bunch of people wearing pink. This smells like pink. Like
maybe that's what Susan Zoom meant. That cotton candy room is the bottom of a trash can. Paul,
Oh, I don't.
You've got
I don't know,
something's going on. What's going on, Paul?
Did you taste it?
It has such a light, like it starts really strong, then it gets really light, and then it just comes right up. So the fizz, like the salt flavor's there. It also has like a caramel, like a thickness to it, like almost butterscotch is what's showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, was the salt for the last one or for this one?
This one.
The notes I just read were for the last one.
Yeah. Which is not to say there isn't salt in this, but I
Exactly.
just wanted to make that clear that the note, because the Scotch Malt Whisky Society always writes these really complicated and detailed like a list. Like they'll just first of all they'll name it something like Party Fizz, and then they'll describe it like it is a journey through the esoteric wonderland that is the flavor of the inside of your mind, the flavors of angels burning on a campfire made out of Cretaceous dinosaurs. That sort of thing. I haven't tasted this yet.
Dinosaur campfires are the best.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Party
Party
I've never
Fizz.
tasted anything like this before.
Yes, that's why I love Scotch. That is exactly. This is my favorite Scotch I've ever had, by the way. That is.
Wait, I'm not ready.
That's Andrew. Because Andrew always says like the thing is like you taste wines and it's like yeah they taste different, it's like but like or whatever, but Scotches have such a distinct and unique and expansive flavor profile. Like I've never tasted anything like this. Yeah.
Oh, Susan Zoom. Oh.
She's here to troll us.
Yeah,
but in the most loving way.
I think the second one tasted like the remainder bin at Staples, right? I should always be ready for the favorite whiskey alert.
You really should.
Yeah.
It could happen at any time, and it will. Boy.
This one is really...
Yeah.
You're right, Paul. It is a roller coaster ride for your tongue. It is. Oh, goodness.
It pops when it lands.
Oh, my God.
Wide and then comes back down.
Like several times, it's like, oh, here I am. No, there's nothing. But here's some more. Oh, now I'm gone. No, boom, boom, boom. Ha! And then it's like, it like leans in really close. It goes, I love you.
And then there's nobody there. You turned and there's nobody there.
And they're gone. But you know you're going to see them again at another party.
But there's just the lingering of the cologne or the perfume they were wearing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of being at the Fringe in Edmonton.
Chanel number 9.
You know, where you have a crush on someone and you see them at a party and you're like, oh, and you flirt with them and then they're gone and you're like, I'll see them at another party.
Yeah, this is turned into a very male podcast.
Yeah, I said someone. I didn't say a woman.
No, of course not. I'm not sure if I want to I kind of want to take a big sip of it. Like I want to take a big.
Do it.
I don't want to do a little one. I want to take a big one of this one.
Just hold it in your mouth though. Swish it around your mouth. Don't just swallow it. Get all the flavor as long as you can.
Wow, that was a huge difference.
Like how?
What happened? Tell us.
It kind of got oaky. Like up front, it got really oaky, and then the caramel texture as I moved it around, it softened. And again, just as I wanted to swallow it, it just sparked right back up. And like it's almost as if moving it around. I wonder if that's where the fizz comes from. Moving it around really makes it kind of dance. It's like meeting someone on the dance floor and you catch eyes, and the next thing you know, you're dancing really mellow, and an hour goes by and you've been dancing together for the longest time.
How do they do this? How does the Scotch Malt Whisky Society do this? Like, are they, I mean, because theirs are always so distinct. I almost want to say, like, they're putting some other flavors in this. Like, I know they're not, but it's like, they must, like, taste a ton of scotches, then go, aha, we got it. Like, you know, it's like they're always so interesting.
I don't know what it is, but they are obviously a great outlet for these whiskey companies to sell barrels early, right? So they can get some cash before the whiskey's ready, because these guys are going to buy the barrel and they're going to sit on it and wait until it tastes, until the flavor has erupted out of it, and then it's time to deliver it. So that's why they have the odd, 17-year-old releases, 13-year-old releases, stuff you would never see on the shelf for a regular whiskey. But I think, here's my theory, is that they are such friends with all of the distillery masters around Scotland. And they go in and, that's how it is. They go into these places and the distillery guy comes over and goes, you know what, this barrel's the barrel to buy. Because it tastes good. It's a natural product, and every barrel tastes different. So they kind of will find the ones that are like, there's something going on in here that we really like.
Well, they're really good at it. They're really good at that.
They're good at their selections.
They're really good at what you just, because yes, scotches all have like a very distinctive, unique flavor, but the ones from SMWS they're so like specific. They're like a laser focused, like party fizz or bacon. Like, it's just amazing.
So tell me about the distiller. What are they? Why are you able to recognize them so clearly, Joseph?
This isn't the distiller. The distiller's Aberlour for this, but the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, they're not a distiller. They buy finished casks or somewhat finished casks, and then they let them,
and let them sit and then taste them and go, oh, this is the year to release this one.
Wow.
And then they make it available to their membership to purchase, not for free.
They select stuff, and that's what Old Sovereign does too. They don't like actually distill their own whiskey. They just buy whiskey that is unique and then resell it.
Sorry, my lips are numb.
I don't know why.
I may not know exactly what I'm saying for you.
That's fine. But there are a number of these independent bottlers that just buy the casks and sit on them and then release them and sometimes it's the only way to taste a particular distillery. Because if you go to the Diageo distilleries, they're all taking all of those casks and they're blending it into Johnny Walker. So you never get to taste them independently unless you go to one of these independent bottlers. Yeah. And it's the only way you can really explore and go, hey, well, what does like a Blair Athol taste like? Well, you would never know unless you had an independent bottler.
So here's a question. This is a stupid question.
There are no stupid questions. There are no stupid questions, for real.
You think in 2020, the whiskey is better than whiskey in like 1876?
I will say yes, unequivocally there. Unequivocally. I think I said that right.
Unequivocally is how it's pronounced.
I apologize.
No, don't apologize.
Because they've gotten so much better at understanding the science of what goes on. And really, there were no single malts until the 90s. Like, there were single malts, obviously, they would be released. But I mean, for the most part, you get Bell's or you get, Johnny Walker, you get all these blends. That was the only thing you could really get. It was where they'd taken multiple distilleries and tried to get a particular flavor. So the idea of tasting a particular distillery was unknown to them. But the fact that, they've gotten so much better with how they make the spirit, how they cool the spirit as it comes off the still. And there's so many choices they can make in that whole distillation process that will affect how clear and smooth the whiskey tastes, that we're tasting stuff that is so much more refined than the blends that you used to be able to get. And in the 1880s, they were probably like, this barrel just came off the still like last week, and here we're selling it, go ahead, because there were no rules to whiskey production at that time. And that was probably not really flavorful stuff.
Plus, I think there's more options now. I mean, it seems like with the boom in whiskeys, like there are distilleries that they're reopening that, were closed before, and people are trying different stuff. It's,
Well, Ardbeg shuttered for a time in the 90s.
Is there anything better in this world than watching Andrew do a tear on his love of whiskey?
There is not.
Andrew, I swear to you, it's awesome.
I fucking love whiskey. I can't help myself.
And I gotta say, dude, you have been a guy who said to me, "Here, try this. Let me buy you a drink. Here, try this." And honestly, that's really that's awesome. It feels really good to have somebody go, try this. It's delicious. You should enjoy this. Because I don't have the knowledge to pick out which thing. I could probably guess at a few wines. If I'm lucky, I might pull out one every 10. But to have somebody go, here, try this. Let me put this together for you. That's my favorite part of this. And I've wanted to do it for a long time, so thank you. Joseph, you're okay. You mostly bring a lot of the, the conflict in the scene.
I really mute him?
That's not true. Joseph is the guy who was like, why are you drinking that? Drink this. And he would hand me, you actually, it's funny because both of you are my my enablers. Joseph was the guy who was my first enabler. He was like, what are you drinking? That's awful. Drink this. And he would give me his drink and make me taste it. And they go, you should get that. And I also remember doing gaming with you, Joseph, over the years. And you'd be like, there's a bottle next to the bread in my kitchen. Pour yourself some of that and then come back and sit down. Like, I remember that specifically.
I'm sure that bottle had Lafroig 10-year in it, which is not bad. That's a delightful drink.
I would have never known what whiskey to purchase. I'm a Jack Daniels guy. I'm a black label, red label.
Well, I'm pretty new to all this still, like for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Andrew will even say like he is new to it, and we've had guests on the show where it's like because I'm like Andrew is my like whiskey mentor, but like I've met his whiskey mentor, and it's like, oh wow, this is a much deeper subject than I could have ever imagined.
Really awesome. I think it's
a simple process and it's a complex process. There's only 3 ingredients.
Which one is it, Andrew?
Barley, water, and yeast. That's it. That's all you're drinking. And then
but the worm tub, you got to know about the worm tub.
Oh yeah,
the worm tub.
The worm tub is how they cool the vapors that have evaporated off the still.
We talked about it last week. You can watch last week's episode if you want to learn about the
Matt's episode.
Now. Yeah.
I feel like there's these enslaved worms who have to cool it.
Yeah, there are.
Wow.
It's terrible. It's
no.
It's kind of slave labor a little bit.
Who's your whiskey grandfather, Andrew?
Whiskey grandfather.
Oh, that would be Stuart Campbell, who is a Scotsman himself, and basically started the Whiskey Society at work that basically gave me the access to so many varieties of whiskey that I could actually start to refine my taste and understand what distilleries I liked and which ones I didn't. What's going on?
Stuart. I'm just looking at the chat.
My lovely wife.
Look over there.
My lovely wife Angela was answering the question before you could answer it. You're like, oh, that's this person.
So she's watched the episodes?
Oh,
Well,
well,
no, she knows Stuart. Of course she knows Stuart. Yes. She works at the same company as I do. Yes.
This is
We're
a
happy
good time.
if-
Wait, are we sciencing this? That's the question.
I haven't yet.
I didn't science mine. I'd have to pour more in it because
I could do it. I'm kind of tempted to because it's so interesting. At the same time, I'm reluctant to. I'm going to wait and see what Andrew does first. I'm going to see what he
Andrew,
says.
are you were you indoctrinated at your company to this group, or were you
Oh no! In my 20s, I had tasted a Lagavulin, and it was mind blowing. It was just like, how can a fluid taste like this? And so when I came to the Whiskey Society at work, I thought, oh, I know whiskey. I'm gonna show them stuff. And I came there and was like, I don't know anything. I've never heard of any of these whiskeys, and they're amazing. So yeah, it's crazy.
We're all on a journey, man.
Yeah.
We're all at different places on that journey.
You keep saying that like we took mezcal or something.
Well, you know.
No, we did not. We did not.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't feel anything right now.
Well, we have another scotch to drink. So.
One more to go here.
Just pour a little bit. You just have to taste it.
I'm
You just have
sciencing.
to taste it.
I'm having some science right now.
Andrew, what do you think about the science? I want to try it, but should I do it? No. Yes.
No, don't do it.
All right.
I would say don't do it.
Yeah, weakened it.
I do
strong.
think Party Fizz is my favorite thing so far. That's such a great description, Party Fizz.
Flattened it. It really flattened the fizz out of it. It was deep.
It took all those highs and lows and just kind of went. And that's the thing I hate about water sometimes. It just makes it an ordinary whiskey. It's like, yes, I can have that experience anytime I wanted. Yes, that's a whiskey. Great. As opposed to like something unique and artistic and expressive. I can rant about whiskey a lot because you know what? I fucking love whiskey.
Andrew, you should have a show where you can just rant about whiskey all you want and people want to hear it.
I will start that up.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, it's called I Fucking Love Whiskey.
Wait, what? Oh man, this might be the most buzzed I've ever been on this show.
Really?
Yeah. Well, wait, you're going to get more buzzed. So, those in the chat that are looking at this label, because you guys can't see it, but everyone else in the chat can, pronounce this whiskey. I bet, I'm gonna wait. Go ahead, pronounce it. I think everybody said Ledaig. That's my guess. But that is not how it's pronounced, because this is a Gaelic name and it's called Ledaig. Yes.
Are you sure?
I am just. Damn it, Paul. I'm not.
It's Ledaig, but
Yes,
don't Lechug it. It's for sipping.
Ew.
For Ledaiging. Oh goodness! Oh goodness!
If Susan Zoom would hear, she would check it.
Oh my God! All right, I can tell you right now, this is going to be my favorite whiskey I've ever had.
Damn it! I know, Corey. I know. I'm losing it.
Oh my God! Yeah, that is one I could just sit here and smell this nose.
I was so happy when I opened this bottle, because you never know when these independent bottlers. This is a Chieftain's Ledaig here, 21-year-old cask number 80063, because that helps you a lot. 59.4%.
Oh my God!
My pores are getting larger and larger each time.
Oh my God, that I can smell like pine. I can smell like some sort of like amazing wood being like burning. The smoke of like it's just that some sort of like really rare, exotic, like fancy wood burning. And I feel like I'm in a lodge, like on a mountain, and there's snow outside, like a huge lodge, and there's like a huge fireplace, and it's amazing.
I don't want to.
Smell like fire?
I want to see what she thinks.
What do you think?
What's it smell like? Come here. Tell me what it smells like. What's it smell like? What's it smell like? It smells like.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
What did it smell like? I couldn't hear.
She said it smells like butt.
Can you tell them what it? Come over here, lean in here, and tell them what it smells like.
Butt.
Oh.
There are no wrong answers.
Daddy's butt.
Oh,
That's pretty
horrible
specific.
children. You know what? Your butt. I kind of like the smell of your butt. Apparently.
Yeah, so do I. This smells like there's also like vinegar in here, like something pickled. I want to say I almost want to say kimchi. It smells kind of like kimchi.
And I'm going to go a different way with my smell notes. Let me just try this on you. A shoe museum sanitized with linseed oil.
Man, I love it when you get these descriptions.
I get the leather of the shoe, and then the linseed oil kind of clinical.
I'm okay with that because it smells like I spent too much money on a pair of leather boots, and what you get is the smell of the leather boots.
Oh, which is so good. This has definitely got the leather smell in it. I fucking love whiskey.
I fucking love whiskey. Like, it's so great. I haven't even tasted this. And honestly, there is a chance that the taste is going to be completely disappointing because this nose is amazing.
It won't be because I've had this before.
Have you? Oh God. Yeah, this is one of those ones where I could just sit here and hold it and smell it, and I don't ever have to taste it.
Mm-hmm. I love those ones you find that you can just sit in the nose for so long. Oh God. Oh.
Man,
you know
that is delicious.
This is my favorite fucking whiskey. I've already got the graphic up, so it's fine.
Oh my God. Yeah, Andrew. That is absolutely, that is standout amazing. That is, oh my God.
Oh, so nice.
That is so good. So good. Oh boy. Oh.
The color too of this one is completely unique compared to the other ones.
And you know what's interesting to me is like, and I don't know if this, but like a lot of times they just put stuff in them to color them. Like whiskey color is just like, it's kind of like it's a superficial thing.
They can only put it in. There's only one kind of coloring they can put in, which is kind of a caramelized sugar coloring. It's like EBA or something like that, EB510A, something like, I can't remember the number. But if they don't have it, they can publish unchilled, filtered, and natural color. So this is the natural color that came out of the cask. They put it on the bottle. That must be true. They cannot have added coloring if they put that on the
So there's no color in this then?
There's no color in this. And the color, honestly, people, if you're buying whiskey and you see a color and you like the color, you can't trust it unless it says no coloring added. It says natural color. If it doesn't say that, they could have put something in it. Now, they say it doesn't affect the taste. I don't know that's for sure. There's some folks on the internet that are going to try to taste one that has coloring in it and one that doesn't have coloring in it and see if there's a difference. Germany actually makes them state. This is going way, way deep. I know too much about whiskey.
That's why we're here, Andrew. That is why we are here.
That's why
Germany makes them put it on the label to say whether there's coloring in it or not.
Good.
Whereas in Scotland, you can remain silent on it and you can put color in it or not. But if you do put it on it that is natural color, then you cannot have added anything. So these guys did not add anything.
Well, because I've had scotches that are completely clear almost, and they taste amazing. So,
No, you.
I have.
No, you.
Andrew, yeah. Andrew, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at the chat here. Will you consider an episode of Scottish cheese to accompany your butt smell whiskey?
I don't think there's anything more fun than asking a child to smell or taste alcohol. Mm-hmm. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
This is live, by the way. You can't, there's no editing this, so that's going to be on the internet forever.
But I think it's funny. I think because their palates despise it at that age.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely a drink for someone who's burned out most of their taste buds throughout their life. That is one of the great things about Scotch and about whiskey is you are alive and you are fucking tasting something, whereas nuances over time get lost.
So the commercials are do you put hot, spicy, salty stuff on your eggs? Are you sick and tired of hot mustard? Try our whiskey.
Oh.
You
Whiskey can help.
Yeah, we.
God,
What's
Andrew,
the
this is
commercial
so
for this
good.
whiskey?
The commercial for
Can
this
I-
whiskey is
there's a
like,
bird-
yeah, you're not gonna like this unless or really appreciate it unless I think you've had at least a couple whiskeys, I think, in your life. This is not a beginner whiskey.
So I called this episode Operation Bpso, which stands for Blow Paul's Socks Off. And I hope I've succeeded.
I gotta say, I don't think I've ever had. I've hung out with both of you quite a bit. I've had whiskey with both of you quite a bit. And I have to say, this round of whiskey is probably the most, it's beautiful. It feels like I spent an entire day with whiskey. It started with the morning dew. We got up early. We went for a hike. We walked around the meadows. We hiked up to the top of a hill. We killed an elk. We cooked the elk.
We did?
Drank whiskey. We ate the elk. We drank.
Is the elk okay?
No, we ate it.
Okay.
Then we walked back down to the cabin we were staying in. We had some whiskey before we built a fire, and then had some whiskey while we watched the fire burn.
Did we eat
We
more
had
elk?
Nope, we had more elk. No. And then after that, we had some dessert, or we had some whiskey. Then we went inside the cabin, built a fire inside the fireplace of the cabin.
Did we play role-playing games or board games?
I was mostly role-playing games, but we started with some board games.
What role-playing game did we play?
Talisman.
That's a board game.
Oh, I thought you said. I'm sorry. I thought you said what board games did we start with? We immediately leapt right into D20, but first edition, because that's all that really matters. Immediately after first edition, we had some more whiskey, and then we had some fowl.
Oh.
Not elk. We had fowl.
What kind of fowl? Was it wild fowl? Or
We don't know. It was never described.
I think it was a wild turkey that we hunted with bows and arrows.
Yeah. And then we had some more whiskey. We put some logs on the fire.
Oh my God.
Had some whiskey.
I do like the house that I'm building in this. I just want to live in it forever. Like I just want to. This smell. Oh my God.
Good.
I feel like if I had a hot date in my life, I would put a little bit of this. Like this is good.
Oh, is that what attracts them?
I don't know, but I would want someone who was attracted to it.
Can't hurt.
Can't hurt. Why are we talking like this now?
Cause.
I feel like Axe should come out with whiskey smelling Axe.
Susan Zoom says, does the evening end with vigorous massage and regret?
No, it ends with vigorous regret.
Yeah.
And massage.
Yeah, massaging happens before the regret. The regret is usually saved for the morning.
I honestly do not think I have ever regretted this show at any point. Like, no point. Like, there's no way you can regret this. This is so good.
No, this is
I see you no evil.
So good.
We love you.
Bye, buddy. We love you.
Thank you, Corey. Be safe.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Don't be a stranger. Hearts and beers.
I'm drinking
Also,
this
go Boston, I guess, because
Yeah.
his dad's a big Boston fan.
Yeah, guy's got class.
Boston.
Yeah, you heard me. You heard me.
God.
You heard me.
Oh my God.
Are we getting into a hockey discussion right now? Is that what it
That's
is?
what
Oh my
happens, yeah.
God.
Is that
Oh
what's
my
going to
God.
happen? How did you fall in love with hockey, Andrew? Is it just being Canadian? You have no choice.
A little bit. So there's a couple. It's circuitous. So when I was 7, 8 years old or something, my mother started flying back to Montreal to be with her mother, and I met my cousins at that time. My cousins were big into the Canadiens, the Habs, the Habitants, and so they took me to a lot of games, and like we would get seats way up in the nosebleeds. But we would go to hockey games, and so I became a Montreal Canadiens fan, and I got Guy Lafleur's autograph when he had his broken arm up there. Just amazing stuff. And then I kind of like went away. I was kind of a fan through the early 70s, then I kind of went away from it. And then in the 80s, Calgary got a team, and I started getting back into it. And my friends at university were like, let's start a hockey pool, where you draft players, and get points from them. and that kind of got my interest renewed, and that was fun. I moved to Toronto and I started going to games. And as I was sitting at the games, I was looking at the people in the gold seats down at the front row, and I'm going, a lot of those people are getting paid to be here. Like they've written this off as an entertainment expense, as a business expense. They're part of the hockey. So how do I do that? So I started this online, thehockeypool.com, that tracks fantasy hockey pools, basically taking the stuff that I'd done in the late 80s, and I put that online, and started this little business, and became the number 3 thing online for doing hockey pools. And so now when I go to the hockey games, I write it off against my taxes and against any profits the hockey pool makes. And so it pays me to go to a hockey game now. And so I love it.
You know, Andrew, you may love fucking whiskey, but I fucking love you.
Good.
You're amazing. You are amazing. That is a great story. Joseph, I have a question for you.
I just want to say, like, after Andrew was made, they broke the mold. There was no other Andrew in the world anywhere, and I fully agree with everything you say. Like,
Right? He's amazing.
He is a delightful human being.
You're delightful.
I love him.
You truly are delightful, Andrew. You really are a genuine, kind, loving soul. You represent Canada really well, but also you're incredible. I'm grateful to be your friend, and not only just for the whiskey. But Joseph, I have a question for you.
All right.
How did you fall in love with gaming? I know you're a big role player. I know you're a board gamer. Tell me,
game designer.
Yeah, game designer. You're very successful. What's the name of your company?
Postcard Games.
Ding ding.
Postcardgames.com. If you,
I don't have a graphics for that.
You can still get a copy of Postcard Galactic. The Kickstarter version at the discounted rate, by the way.
Okay.
For our thousands of viewers. But how did I get into it? Like, I was always into games. Like, I was always obsessed with, like, video games to begin with. Like, I remember we had an Atari 2600, and I played Adventure. And that I had, like, dreams about it afterwards, and I wanted to make my own games, and I had, like, a VIC-20 and then a Commodore 64. And the first computer game I wrote was called Caterpillar. But also my brother was, like, involved with this group in Oregon called the Western Oregon Wargamer Society, and they were, like, a bunch of grognards who played, like, Napoleonics and then Dungeons and Dragons. And we would go as, like, we were like these kids, and there were, like, these 30-year-old nerdy dudes that would play games with us. And yeah, that's how I got started. And they were like completely accepting and totally fun, like really awesome guys. And it was like, yeah, we played like Traveler, and I don't know. And then, it was like back in the 80s was a big deal. So that's how I got started. But I always a huge fan of, like, games. Always. Like, I would, like, build my own games out of cardboard all the time, like from when I was a kid, of all different types.
I just want to issue an apology. I'm sorry, he doesn't follow the Bruins. It's the Red Wings that Corey and his father are rooting for.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, then he's dead to us.
They are well out of the playoffs. Let me tell you, the Red Wings had the worst season ever. They were last in the league.
Is this an asterisk season to you?
Oh, 100%. It has to be. It has to be.
I have a question for you, Paul.
Yes, Paul, we have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, we both have I guess we both have a question.
We have both questions.
Okay.
But
So,
you ask yours first, just in case it's different from mine.
I'm excited.
Do you want us to ask our question then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So after all of this, what we've been through today, the question I have is this: do you, Paul Hungerford, do you like whiskey?
I think I come from an Italian household. We made our own wine, like truly old school, like the same cask. So like really homemade wine. So I grew up around that, right? So I grew up around alcohol. So alcohol is no big deal, right? It was always there. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to drink alcohol. It was what it was. It was always on the table. It was always a part of my life. It's no big deal. And having grown up with that palate, thinking that was like the coolest thing ever. Like I thought that was cool that I understood wine. Whiskey is like going from a handgun to a shotgun. You are dealing with far more complex, more intense flavors and textures, and I love that. I also only understood Jack Daniels. I thought Jack Daniels was, and what is Jack? It's a Tennessee whiskey, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bourbon. It's at least 51% corn, and the rest would be rye. That's what the bourbon is.
So to me, that's all I understood of it. So as I was, grew up and exposed to the world and met other people, and they were like, "There's more than just that, dummy." It was like, to me,
Did you say dummy? That's hurtful.
Nobody said dummy, but like they implied it, and that's okay. I don't hurt that. Pain is a part of life. It's how it goes. I actually appreciate it. One of my favorite.
And if you don't realize that, you're going to get the gum jabar.
I remember your gum jabar. Now you remember mine. In all truthfulness, both of you. I have to admit, like I wanted to be on the show for a very long time because both of you have educated me so much on whiskey, and I fucking love whiskey.
Yes!
Yes! I am not the person who will go out of his way to spend money on whiskey because I'm just not educated enough. And so I've watched I've watched the show, I've listened to the podcast, I've watched you guys on Instagram, which is why, I subtly wanted to seduce you guys to come over to our channel because I think this is really cool. I think it's there's a thing on Netflix right now called Sour Grapes about this swindler who may have undermined the entire a lot of the Burgundy wines and such. But what I love is that there's no bullshit here. There's like, we had a cask, we made this many bottles out of it, we're selling this many bottles. I don't know, it's this.
Yeah.
And there's all this science related to it. It's just exciting to me. And I think alcohol, much like the aspect of marijuana, and I think 10 years from now, this show will exist with marijuana. But
probably already does.
Yeah, probably does.
Probably.
I think it's really exciting to be educated on whiskey, and I think it's something that people don't appreciate. I fucking love whiskey.
One more time.
I
fucking love.
Fucking love.
Oh God. We nailed it. We nailed it.
Thank you,
everybody,
for being on the show, Paul.
You guys are beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're both beautiful. You're doing God's work. You're doing the angels' work right now.
I'm happy to get the angels' share.
Thank you so much, everybody. We love you.
All of this.
Yeah. There's no rush. I give you 2 ounces, and we only drink a quarter ounce on the show, supposedly, so that you can choose to drink it later on and have some fun and enjoy it. So that's the purpose of all that. But thank you so much to our viewers. We love you all. Appreciate you being here. And we will see you next week. We have Roberto is our guest next week. And I think we're still on Sunday. We might move it to Saturday. Who knows? We'll see.
We'll let you know.
Bye, everybody.